Good morning and welcome to another beautiful day. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and this is the time a lot of people wait for. It's time for Outnumbered. And of course, I want to say good morning to Anthony Nwokolo, who is looking cute this morning as
Thank you,
usual.
Ramsey. Good morning, Ramsey.
And also to Christopher Sunday.
Good morning.
Yeah,
Good
good
morning,
morning,
Anthony.
Christopher.
Good morning, Christopher.
Let's quickly bring you to speed with the headlines that we have for the day. And the first paper with me right here is the Punch newspaper. From the Punch newspaper, I have this punchy headline which says federal government laments blackout despite 65% subsidy once discussed. The details of that you can get on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. Then above the header, I also have this one which says pray for Nigeria to overcome challenges. Governors tell Muslims. That you can get on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. Then still above the header, UN begins Lagos Abuja Airport security audit. Details you can find on page 21 of the Punch newspaper. And that takes me to the big story from the Punch newspaper this morning, which says 28 trillion naira budget. Bro, haba. All right. Parties demand 2.7 trillion naira pardon probe. Northern senators disown Ningi. Well, I don't think Ningi is ready to go back because in one of the paper, I saw him saying, I saw where he said there is no going back, that he's sure of what he's saying. But then for northern senators to disown Ningi, I don't know why they are doing that. Are they trying to say what he has said is a lie? Can we say in earnest that there is no pardon in the budget? That's a question for another day. Just one writer to that story. Ningi insists on 3.7 trillion naira allegation. Senators, APC, PDP seeks sanction and investigation. Well, the investigation should be done, all right? And sanction should also be done if should actually come up if anyone is found wanting. And this is going to be the size of the headlines from the Punch newspaper this morning as we move to the next paper.
All right, on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper today, the first headline: Bandits invade Plateau Market, kill 7 persons. The details of that story is on page 28 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. 4 days after abduction of our children, kidnappers yet to make contact. The parents of the abducted children, they are the ones saying this. I can imagine the emotional stress they are going through, not hearing from the kidnappers, not knowing the whereabouts of their children, if they are dead or alive or injured. It's so sad. And the details of that story is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. The next headline: alleged budget pardon. Northern senators disown Ningi as crack widens. We have two riders to that story. 3.7 trillion naira not traced in budget, Ningi insists. Then the next rider says, arrest, charge Ningi for breach of peace. This is coming from Jimo Ibrahim. This is actually the big story, and it continues on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Senate inaugurates 17-man committee to probe Buhari's 22.7 trillion naira ways and means anchor Bora's program. The details of that story is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And finally, from this paper, UK bans overseas health workers from bringing dependents. And the details of that story is on page 30 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And that will be the size of the headlines from the Nigerian Tribune newspaper.
All right, from the Vanguard newspaper, energy crisis. FG orders NERC to revoke licenses of non-performing discos. You can find that story on the page 24 of the Vanguard newspaper. Edo Goba, stakeholders seek urgent resolution of Obaseki Shaibu Field. That story you can get on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. UBA, Africa Guarantee Fund, partner on $100 million loan support for African SMEs. And that story you can get on page 19 of the paper. Ramadan, Abbas, governors, Obi, others urge unity, prayers for Nigeria. That story is on page 20 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then the big story there is sub-regional forces working to destabilize Nigeria, says the presidency. Well, the regional forces, I believe, is within Nigeria. So if the presidency, with all her power and authority, cannot trace those regional powers or some of these persons that wants to destabilize Nigeria, it means Nigeria is insecure. So we want to call on the DSS, the police, army, all those that are involved in causing problems to Nigeria should be arrested, especially those who are sponsoring terrorism, those who are bringing one problem to another, kidnapping, budget padding, all of them, they are all vices that the federal government must use the agencies within our powers to save Nigeria from collapsing. And that will be the size of our story from the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, thank you very much, Christopher, for that beautiful headlines. Let's quickly move to the next headline, which is going to be coming from the Daily Independent. From the Daily Independent, above the head, I have this one which says, Senate inaugurates committee to probe Buhari's 30 trillion naira ways and means. That's a probe of the past administration. Well, who is going to do the probe? Because this is an APC administration. It's from APC to APC. Well, if they do it, it will be a welcome development, and this administration would have to sit up too. Just one rider to that story. Charges it to be thorough, leave no stone unturned. That's the rider to that story. Then I want to move to the big story right here, still all about Ningi. It says Ningi defense serve insists 3 trillion naira not tied to any project. 3 trillion naira not tied to any project.
I think at this time, I want to.
He's so confident.
I want to advise. I want to advise Ningi to also send some of these facts, if he has any, to send them to the media, because as it is, the 3 trillion naira is not a
3
small
trillion
money.
naira.
Yes,
but in this time, I don't know why
so
he
should hand over documents that shows proof of his allegation.
I think for him to go this strong, it means there are evidences.
The 10th assembly cannot deny the fact that there is a budget padding. You know why? There has always been budget padding from one Senate,
right from
the
time immemorial.
Yes, so
it's been there.
at this sense, you cannot have people, I don't want to mention them now, in the 10th assembly, and you will not have a.
Oh, there are some persons that, if they are there, they have to be padded. It's in their character, it's in their DNA. All right, more from there. These two headlines. Okay, I've taken two already. Just some two riders to that story. Senator wants Ningi charged to court for misappropriation.
That is a threat.
Misinformation.
That is a threat. Misinformation in figure or in sincerity. He may have given a wrong figure, but the fact is that he is right by saying that they
padded the budget. Padding at all?
Yes, there is.
If there is a padding at all, then it's not totally wrong.
It wasn't 3 trillion.
But it's 1.2.
1.27.
But there was a padding.
Yes,
so that
it's a
shows
padding.
that there was money not tied to a particular project
that was in the budget.
Yes, that's in the budget.
So where is it going to go to?
Maybe that is a misinformation.
Where is it going to go to?
In figures.
Well, I don't know, but then this is what makes Nigerians feel, well, the judicial system has loopholes, because it's so amazing when you see someone already defaulting, someone already guilty, and insisting on going to court because they're in power and they feel they have immunity. Well, let's see how that's
the reason why you see some of these people going about with 20, 50 policemen is simply because they are very they are sure that the youths, the masses will clap down on them if they are moving alone in the market, because they know the hardship they are causing, whether with action or inaction.
All right, I won't be able to take more headlines, but so much on the Daily Independent. So what I will have you do is just get to your vendor and pick any of these papers, and you can peruse through it to just look through any of the headlines that actually catch your fancy. All right, this is going to be the size of the review for this morning. We want to go on break, and after the break, then the big story.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleke TV. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleke TV, rising star at the fairground.
It's good to have you right there. And of course, we are excited because anytime we are bringing you the big story, there is this confidence that we have that at least a light is going to be shed on a particular issue for your understanding. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and it's been Anthony Nwokolo and Christopher Sunday. Let's go straight to the big story for the day, which is actually going to come from the Punch newspaper. We've been talking about Ningi, of course, and his audacity, his boldness. And, well, if the senators want, they should go to court. He said he doesn't care. And one thing about this is that there is a fact somewhere. And in every rumor, there is an atom of truth. So let's just look at this headline, which is the big story, where parties are demanding 3.7 trillion naira pardon probe. There should be a probe, whoever that is responsible for this. Let me bring you to speed with this. It's either this money is under one particular ministry. It's either it's for one agency. It's either it's for one audio project. Something, somehow. An addition, we're talking about trillion. Remember, we're not talking about million. Even if it is million, is this the right time for you to pocket, even if it is 1 million naira, now that Nigerians are going through so much? I wonder why some persons are so heartless. Permit me to use that word this morning because I'm actually not very happy when I heard about this pardon. The economy is dwindling, all right? Things are falling apart. The center is no longer holding. And people who are senators, lawmakers that are supposed to fight on how we can restore the integrity of this nation and at least bring back our economy to where it is supposed to be, are doing this. This is appalling. This is shameful. This is embarrassing. Well, let me get to probe. Okay? Probe now. Christopher, we're talking about probe. And one thing that I seem not to understand here is disowning Ningi
what do you
by
mean
Senate disowning. You own him before?
Son?
Is it your son? Or you want to say it's no longer from the north because he's trying to say the truth? Is that what you're saying? So senators disowning him. I don't know what that means. What does it imply?
Senators from the north.
From the north, because
Like
he's
you're
from
no
the
longer
north.
part of us.
You're no longer
I
part.
put it to you that the senators that are or that gave that statement, even though they are from the north, they are the allies of those that have been accused of this fraud.
Beneficiaries.
They know a thing or two.
Nengi is a PDP senator from Bauchi State. Bauchi State is PDP.
Yeah.
PDP is Bauchi State. The governor is Bauchi
Bauchi
State.
should be North Central.
No, it's not North Central.
Okay.
It's not North Central. So
okay, Bauchi
now
is not.
The PDP, in all this, all I want to advise the opposition party is that this is the time for them to come together, irrespective of party affiliation, to put voice, the likes of Labour Party, the likes of NMPP, the likes of PDP. I've not heard. This is my personal problem with Atiku. Atiku is always standing on the fence. For the past 3 days, this issue has been going front and back. I have not heard any statement from Atiku. I have not heard any statement from even Kwankwaso, NMPP. So you look at it as these people are just taking Nigerians for a ride. A senator representing his people is accusing the Senate president, not just the whole Senate, that there is a 3 trillion naira that is padded into the budget. The Senate president said he's not aware. The presidency says it's not 3 trillion, that is 1.27 trillion. And no opposition, no strong voice, no opposition has come to even back this guy up. Thank you. Kudos to you. Do you know the implication of leaving him to his fate? To his fate. He will be intimidated on the floor of the house.
What I wanted to hear is, at least, other PDP governors, Labour Party governors, senators, should at least throw some form of support to Ningi. But then, this is something that you can't just throw yourself.
Again, apart from that, I think it is also our duty as journalists to also throw our support to him, put a call across to him. Organizations. Yes, and then put a call to him. Let him shed light more for us to have insight into what he's alleging.
Okay, let me talk to Ningi now. Ningi, please, if you can really, if you come across this program, what we want you to do is possibly do a press briefing. Let the press know, bring out facts, and it is going to be pursued to the latter. As a matter of fact, civil society organizations should rise up in support, but then do your findings first, because no one will want to support you when they don't really have facts. You know, fairness is one thing that, and objectivity is one thing that the media do, and that's what we are known for. If this is really true, even though they said it's not 3 trillion naira, but then even if it is 1 trillion, provided there is a pardon, you will have the backing. If they like, they should go to court. This time, Nigerians will not accept a no for an answer. Well, he's from Bauchi State. Bauchi is northeast. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Bauchi is northeast. And North Central, Northwest, all northern senators, if they like, they should
all PDP governors.
All PDP governors.
Opposition governors.
If this is then this other senators.
Yes, this is one of the reasons.
Does it mean you are in a Senate, you are in an assembly, you can't voice your complaint? If you notice any irregularity, you can't say.
They want everyone to be like them.
Everyone has to think in a straight line. That is the reason why it's Senate, and that's the reason why they have sittings. When you raise a motion, someone will second, and they will put it on the floor of the house for all of them to deliberate. Oh, this is the way forward. And then the Senate president gives his go ahead. Oh, let's go with this, or let's not go with this. Let's put this on hold. That is how things ought to be in a normal society. But now you're pointing out something and they are disowning you.
They are disowning you.
So what should we do?
These northern senators Nigerians are looking at you somehow. Northern senators.
Why are you disowning
me? We are looking at you somehow.
No, don't generalize.
This is suspicious.
Don't generalize the northern senators.
They say northern senators.
Yes.
That's what they say.
Yeah, they say, but they cannot
senators.
Do they have forum of northern governors, senators? Is there any press release from? People can sponsor article on newspaper.
So are you trying to say this is sponsored?
Yes.
That is, it appears in all of almost all the papers that you know.
What does it take to sponsor?
Okay, Christopher, can I say something?
Yes.
If it is sponsored,
yes,
then northern senators should come out and said we didn't disown him. Yeah. That what you saw on paper was a mere sponsor.
Okay, this is politics.
Yeah.
Somebody is trying to save his head, trying to use all machineries to save his name from what
so
is
they
happening.
Can go behind and do a sponsor so that
other parties silent.
That is why we are calling on them.
I think Labour Party and PDP and every other party at the 10th Assembly should rise to the occasion, come up and support Ningi. Go talk with Ningi, get facts so that you can come and bring it up. Well, I think as a matter of fact, this is going to be the size of outnumbered today. Tonya, on the final note, you want to say anything?
No, well, we've said it all.
Say something to Ningi. Tell Ningi something.
Ningi has to go back to check all of the evidences you have, bring them out.
All right,
We
Ningi,
want to
bring
see
all
all
the
of them.
evidences
We
out.
want to see them out, and the other parties should not be silenced. Let's rise up to the occasion.
All right.
When it was the probe of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Nigerians were at the top of it.
All right,
Why are we all of a sudden
hold your
cold?
thought. You're going to better now. This is going to be the size of today's big story on Outnumbered, and it's been a very wonderful time. Thank you very much, Anthony, and thank you very much, Christopher.
It's my pleasure.
My name is Ramsey, and keep tab on the channel. We'll bring to you more informative, educative, and of course, entertaining programs on the channel. Bye-bye for now, and have a beautiful day.